What if Deku was, shit, I don't know if I'm gonna call it what if he got experimented on, or what if Deku was an experiment. But anyways, hit the intro. Now with that shit out the way, this is gonna be very interesting. So let's go ahead and start it off, but I'm trying to do Deku's POV. So here we go. The latest memory I have is getting beat on and punched and kicked. About 7. All I remember was Kachan screaming, "You'll never be a hero without a quirk, useless Deku!" And all of his cronies jumping and beating on me like a stepchild. And then Kachan, around the age of 10, I don't want to say 10, maybe 10. 10, yeah, I think, we'll say 11. No, that increased it. We'll say maybe 9 or so. All right, yeah. We'll say about 9 or so, right? He whatchamacallit? His parents basically just gave up on him and sold him into enslavement, and just goodbye, Deku. Basically, because he's useless, so his parents abandoned him as he was being taken to some unknown location. He's screaming out for his mom. He's screaming out for his dad, "Help me, help me," as they walk away back to the car. Mother crying, dad not making no motions or no nothing. Deku, why? Why was I born like this? Why? As he's being taken and basically being captured and shit, right? Deku don't know how to feel about this. He's upset. He's sitting there crying, trying to, ask for where his mom's at, where his dad's at, and all that stuff. Then he started getting beat on even more. Constantly getting beat on. And all he knows is pain for the next 2 months. And then an old guy, or a doctor, if you may, comes through with a man in a tuxedo. Very well. Show me the new show me the new prize or new experiment. And then he sees a 9-year-old, 9-year-old Deku looks up with hatred in his eyes, looking at One for All. I mean, One for All, All for One? Yeah, All for One. One for All, All for One, All for One, One for All for One. There we go. And he looking up at him, and he's like, "Are you the mastermind behind all this?" I mean, he's not stupid. Plus, he was smart to begin with, so I think this would be reasonable for him to say. And he's like, "Oh my, and what if I was, young boy? What is your name exactly?" Izuku. He's like, "Oh, you've already forsaken your family's name. They forsaken me when they left me in this hellhole." He's like, "Well, from what I can see, you're quirkless." Him, "Yeah, what about it? Don't think," and then Deku has a very serious expression when he says this. "Don't think because I'm quirkless doesn't mean I won't get stronger. When I get bigger, I will kill you." He said, my, as All for One claps. My. Very strong tenacity for such young age. This would be interesting. All right. If that's the case, how about we'll do this? If you can survive a year or 2 here, I'll give you a couple of quirks. Him, I'll take anything. All for One gets in Deku's face. I think he might still have his face during this point in time too. Gets in his face, looks him dead in his soul. Who said you had a choice? And then, so now everyone's in. He eventually, after basically they just beat him down into submission, just stop all the crying and beat the cinnamon roll out of him. Basically, everyone gets this initiation unless they're on their best behavior. So what happens now is Deku spends the next 2 years in class, and when I say in class, he's in class, they're teaching him, but they're only teaching him lethal shit, right? teaching them, instead of like how Hawks was how to be a hero, they almost doing something like opposite of that, right? How not inherently how to be a villain, how to kill people, how to go for weak points. It's almost like a gladiator kind of like situation. Sometimes you'll fight people that are your homies, and other times you'll fight people from other sections. And you don't have a choice in the matter. You win, you eat. You lose, you die. You might get lucky and the person that's beating on you might break just an arm, or they might just gouge out an eye. You get to live. And Deku, on the other hand, doesn't have a quirk, so he has to work twice, if not like 10 times harder than all of his contemporaries. He's getting treated the worst, but in retrospect, he just keeps training and working on how to actually throw quality hands, while most people focus on their quirks. Everyone has the free range to train however they want and do whatever they want, in the sense of. Plus, the more fights you win, the better the commissary is. The more chores and efforts you get done, the more shit you get. Basically, the more better the slave you are, the more shit you get. It's simply put. So Deku's training, and we gonna make up a couple of people, right? So you got two friends, right? You got one friend that's a girl. I'm trying to think of the bitch's name. I gotta make her name up on spot. We'll call her Lavi. She has a let's see here. She has like a shock absorption quirk. Okay, so she's able to absorb damage and shit like that. While his homie, Mark for short, I guess, he has a healing like quirk, okay? And so they're the coolest homies. They all get along with one another. And since homeboy can heal, it's like a blend bag, right? Deku uses him to train out lethal combos and different moves, while the other dude practices on, healing his quirk. And since they're in the same age bracket, they're most likely not going to fight one another, right? Lavi, using her shock absorption, basically it's like a quirk that allows you to take in attacks and also dish out those attacks back a lot harder. So yeah. So she can, in theory, still take damage. It just depends if the quirk gets overwhelmed or not, which Deku understands. And he's still a quirk nerd because that's kind of his whole snitch. He's smart to begin with. So now we're going to get into like actual fights, because those are the only ones we need to really talk about. They got some, elders, some people that have been there longer than they have, for some time and shit, right? And basically, they've just been training for a good little minute. And once they hit the age of 10, this is when shit gets serious, right? Because all that training and all that, like, studying and stuff is actually appeared for this moment. So, your boy Marcus pulls out, shit. So Marcus is the first out of them that got to fight. And they all got to fight today. And if you lose this fight, you either die or you get severely punished. And people have seen what happened when you live after a fight to see what happens, right? So what ended up happening is Mark's going in. He's throwing some quality hands at first. But the person he's fighting is a clean 13, right? And don't get me wrong, just because, I haven't said nothing, they've been going through hell. They get, like, basically beat on. If you act online, you get beat on. If then God forbid someone else is jealous of you, they gonna beat on you. There's people that's been there, they're 18 and they've been there, so they know how to use their quirk, they know how to hit you hard. You basically get bullied 24/7 regardless. There's a hierarchy somewhere beating on you. You don't respect the hierarchy, you get fucked. And I don't mean fucked up, I mean fucked and fucked up. So you best be careful. Fuck dropping soap, they will make you, okay? Take that how you will. Now, some people can tiptoe by this. Like, if you're a pretty enough individual, they might spare you from some of the grueling activities, but you got to make up for it in other ways. And this literally can mean multiple things. So it really just depends on what type of individual the individual is. Anyways, So your boy Mark about to fight this dude, right? This dude got like a flame-like quirk. Oh God. Dude got like a flame-like quirk. And he's like, all right, this gonna be easy. Boy, was he wrong. But to be continued on the next part.